there are basically three type of cloud: hybrid, private, and public. So private cloud is basically the cloud infrastructure that are being provisioned by single organization and for its own purpose. Public cloud is basically for the common users, which is available across multiple organization and multiple academics and multiple government. Then hybrid is combination of private and public cloud. And then community is basically different cloud community and different community of organizations come together to have a feature of cloud computing. Or some combination of them, and it may exist on or off premises. So the private cloud is being defined for a particular organization, single organization, and that could have multiple consumer, means multiple employees, multiple students. They can work together in one organization. So that is private cloud. So it may be owned and managed by particular same organization or some third party, means some other organization is managing that private cloud for the customer. Cloud infrastructure is provisioned for the open use by a general public. It may be owned and managed and operate by business, academic, or government organization, or so some combination of them. It exists on the premises of the cloud provider. So this is public cloud like Google or Facebook or Akamai. So this is for public usage like Facebook app that we use, like Google Gmail system that we use, and it is owned and managed by a business organization like Google, or some academic purpose like some big university is managing a public cloud for providing courses on demand. And government can also organize some of the like DST website or uh, nick.in. These are the example of public cloud by government organization. So based upon the premises, these two things are different. Means private cloud are being managed on the premises or outside the premises, but it is restricted to only one organization. So that is private cloud. And public cloud is provided by the cloud provider like Google, Facebook. So it is kept on the server of their that company or organization. And third definition is for the hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud, the cloud infrastructure is composition of two or more distinct cloud infrastructure, private, community, or public, that remain unique entities but are bound together by standardized or proprietary technology that enables data and application probability. Example, cloud bursting or load balancing between clouds. Hybrid cloud is basically two or more organizations that for cloud computing that are managing the infrastructure. That organization could be private, community, or public. These remain the unique entity, means all of them would be disjoint from each other. And then there is some standardization and proprietary technology that enables. So what does it mean? It means that there is some standard benchmark technology that all organizations are using for providing that hybrid cloud infrastructure for all the organization. And example of these proprietary technologies are like standardized technology are like load balancing between cloud, so that a consumer or user should get proper service. Then the last one is community cloud. So community cloud are like the cloud infrastructure is provided for exclusive use by a specific community for consumer from organization of that shared concern. Example, mission, security, requirement, policy, compliance consideration. It may be owned, managed, and operated by one or more of the organization in the community, a third party, or some combination of them, and it may exist on or off premises. So this community cloud is for a specific purpose, for a specific community that has some goals. For example, mission. So, like for defense purpose, there is some mission for a particular objective. Some construction work is going on, so they have a particular task for that construction. For that, they are having a community cloud, which are being managed by 3-4 organization combinedly for 3-4 organization working together. So it may be owned and managed by one or more organizations. For example, an institute is under construction, and that building is being developed by some constructor, uh, and so there are two entities, institute and constructor. Then third entity is like designer for that building. So third entity and fourth entity would be like students. So these four entities are working together. Then we can say it is a community cloud. We'll see the property of the public cloud. So public cloud may be free or offered on the pay per usage model. So like Facebook or Google is free of cost, but when we use Google Drive, so we have a limited amount of usage. If we want to extend that Google Drive, then we have to pay more. So this is what it means by pay per usage model. And then mostly similar public and private cloud architecture. So these are basically built from public or private cloud architecture. But different is for the security, storage, and other resources that are usually better in public cloud. So obviously, the company who is managing public cloud, he has to focus and should provide some standard, high standard quality. That's why user or consumer would be attracted to use that service of that public cloud provider. So that's what are the quality of service, like security of the data, like in Gmail or in Facebook. The storage should be large as much as possible, and other resources like feature, it should be user friendly. So these all are the high standard features that public cloud usually provide. Example of this, as I told, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, these are the having large set of infrastructure that are being managed at the data centers. For example, Amazon and Microsoft offer different connect service called AWS Direct Connect and Azure Express Route. Customer requires to purchase or lease a connection. So they provide different kind of connection for connecting to the server, and that uh, a customer need to purchase means these two features or technology that I'm telling, it is for very high-end organization that they use very large set of bandwidth, so they use this type of services. Then we'll see private cloud. Private cloud, how it has been established. Private cloud establishment require efforts by an organization to and also intelligence to take decision regarding the resources. So the private cloud is particularly for an developed or established by an organization based upon the capability of that organization to make a choice for how that cloud should work and how that cloud should be. So it depends on the organization to organization. It improves business or raise security issues that must be addressed. So if a server is being kept on a organization or an institute, then that server could be hacked, or there should be some business flaws in that, and there might be some financial mistake. So all these issues should be addressed and should be kept properly according to the means according to the organization. Then private data centers are generally capital intensive. They require space, hardware, environmental control, and electricity. So if an organization wish to establish a data center in that organization, so they also need to manage cooling environment. They also need to manage having a large building or a room dedicated for that data center. That and additionally they have to purchase very high-end hardware resources like processors, disk, or optical fiber for combining the whole data center into one unit and providing it to the same organization. So operational expense as well as capital expenditure for renewable. So in this private cloud, both operational expense and this capital expenditure would be required. And that could be renewable, means that could be again be used in some other purpose. So what does this mean? Means operational expense means we need to hire some 3 4 managers to manage the data center, or we need some programmer to write applications for that cloud computing. Then we need capital expenditure for establishing that data center, means hardware resources we need to purchase, cooling resources we need to purchase, and then issues by build, manage, and expertise. So all the four would be required in private cloud. Means we need to purchase resources, then we need to build with some hired employees, and then we need some more employees for managing that, and then we need experts for managing and leading that project of private cloud. Then there comes the solution for all these things, like both private and public cloud can be combined together to provide a combined objective. We will help in the extension of the capacity or the capability of a cloud service by aggregation, integration, or customization with another cloud service. Ability to connect, manage, and or dedicate service with both private and public cloud resource. So here's the detailed explanation how it works, how that hybrid cloud works. It is an extension of capacity and capability. So what does this mean? Extension of capacity and capability. So you had established a private cloud in your organization. Now you want some more resources. So what you do, buy it from public cloud, means extend the capacity of private cloud in your organization, and this will also increase the capability of some services with the help of public cloud. So means you are aggregating your private cloud, integrating your private cloud, and customizing your private cloud with another cloud service, means publicly available, or some other private organization that are providing service. So you are integrating your private cloud with the another cloud. This is provide ability to connect, manage, and dedicate service with both private and public cloud. That's what I'm telling. Private and some other private cloud or public cloud means all these 3 4 things are combined together with connected network, with managed employees, with dedicated service for all these things, and they all uh, are like resources together. And then we have this hybrid cloud, means private cloud mixed with public cloud. Private cloud will be internal and public cloud would be external in the cloud. So this forms a hybrid cloud. And on premises in internal means an organization would have internal resource for this private cloud, and off premises or third party means whole internet would be there. And then we'll see what are the two features that it has. If an organization have some client data or on a private cloud application but want to interconnect that application to business intelligence application provided on the public cloud as a software service. If an organization use public cloud computing resource to meet temporary capacity needs that cannot be met by the private cloud. So first one says that client data or private cloud is the necessity of that organization. So client data means employees or some users of that organization need some business intelligence, means some external features of the service and some external services. For example, uh, you can say Google Forms or you can say Google Docs. So these are the business intelligence that are required. So the organization is connecting itself with external resources on Google services like Google Forms and Google Docs or some Gmail app also. So these three things are being combined together, and that will uh, give access to the public cloud within the help of the private cloud organization. So it's like we are creating a domain for a private private organization, and then with the help of that private domain, we are accessing some features in the publicly available by another service. So, for example, an institute create its domain xyz dot ac dot country extension. That domain is for employees of that organization. Now those employees want to use some Google Forms or some Google Docs. So this is being provided by Google, and this is an example of hybrid cloud. If an organization use public cloud computing resource to meet temporary capacity needs that cannot be met by private cloud. So if the resources are very intensively used and required, for example, Google Colab means if a user means a student is not able to make computing on its local computer, so they can deploy that code on the Google Colab, and that Google Colab will provide resources for processing that program. This is how that private means private student or student belonging to a particular organization can use a public feature, and this is because of resource limitation of that organization. That means that organization is not able to provide high-end resources, and for that temporary need of that student, that organization is combining, collaborating with another large organization like Google, so that they can have a deployment and processing for that student project. Then cloud bursting is a term. That cloud bursting is when the demand for computing capacity increases, then an application deployment model in a private cloud or data center will burst to a public cloud. During spike in processing demand requirement, private cloud infrastructure that support average workload will start using cloud resource from public or private cloud together. What does that mean? Cloud bursting is a terminology used for computing capacity increment when somebody is deployed, some organization had using a private cloud. So private cloud is being used and some application are being deployed on the private cloud or data center available at the organization. But there are lots of employees which keep on increasing day by day or month by month or year by year. So that organization start thinking that this is a sudden burst, or means every day this process increases, and this weekly this process increases. So they have a sudden spike in a particular day or particular end of month or starting of the month, or starting of the week or ending of the week. So they have a sudden spike for processing that high number of demand. So that private cloud infrastructure says to the public cloud that please take the workload of that private cloud to the public cloud and solve our issue. So this is what it means by cloud bursting, means sudden spike is the keyword for this. I'll read again. When the demand for the computing capacity increases, then an application deployment model in a private cloud or data center will burst or to a public cloud during the spike in the processing demand requirement. Private cloud infrastructure that supports average workload will start using cloud resource from public or private cloud together. So in the certain situation that when there is large number of usage requirement in a private cloud by the employees of that organization, then the spike will come. That spike is called cloud bursting, and then that demand of the spike would be shifted to the public cloud as well. Means public as well as private cloud both are being used for providing the resources to the consumer or the user. Then the advantage of this hybrid cloud: payment only for the extra compute resource when they are needed. So private cloud or private organizations should only need to pay for the extra amount of resource that are being used by by its employees due to cloud bursting. Then other deployment model. These some of these are old, like distributed cloud. So this is very old term since 1990s. We can say this exists, distributed cloud. The computing done by a distributed set of the machine that are running at different locations and they are connected to a single network. For example, Bonic and folding home. Example, volunteer is shared resources. So these are very old cloud or the organizations. Like Bonic was famous in 2000 to 2010. So what does that Bonic used to do? They really ask consumer to dedicate some of the resource for a particular task, and then that task would be like some solving medical issues, that there is a medical research going on. So user is donating that its laptop or a computer for solving that medical task. Medical task is usually are very compute intensive. So that Ponic asks for this type of features. So this is very old terminology, distributed cloud. So distributed set of machines like of consumer donating their machines at different location. And then there's multi-cloud. When multiple cloud vendor provide service together in the heterogeneous architecture, this will help in reducing reliance on single vendor, increasing flexibility through choice, mitigate against disasters, etc. So what does this mean? Multi-cloud means multiple cloud vendors are providing multiple services. So these services are being combined together, and that also reduces risk of being destruction of particular service, and then other services would be available for usage. So this means, for example, Google Maps, YouTube video, and Google Translate or Google Docs, all these things could be combined in a single website to provide it to the user. So this is what it means by multi-cloud. Means different services of different organization could be combined together to provide a single service. Intercloud is an inter-cloud cloud of cloud, similarly to the inter-cloud network, internet network of network. Mainly, intercloud means help in interoperability between public cloud service provider, as in the case of our hybrid or multi-cloud. So similarly, that I explained that Google has different services. So this Google Cloud could be combined with Twitter tweets. So uh, in addition to the Google Maps or in addition to the Google Docs, we can also add some tweets in our website, and as well as that tweets, we can add some blogs So this is like 3-4 organizations we are combining together. So these 3-4 organizations combined together to provide service is intercloud. Is different cloud, Google, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, these all are being combined together to provide intercloud service. So next topic is risk. So the risks associated are basically privacy concerns. The most important and the most discussed topic in cloud computing, that if we are putting our personal files over the cloud, then somebody could see it. It is not good. And the big organization are doing data analytics over our data. Means they are reading our email, they are reading our chat, they are reading our images. They are actually seeing what with whom we are connected to, with whom we have some disconnection, with whom, uh, which organizations we are working together. So cloud computing privacy concern, our service provider may access the data. This is the most important topic of cloud computing since it was being started. That service provider can access the data and it can use in any way for advertisement, for providing it to some malicious organizations, and all these things could be the concern. First thing. Then second thing, accidental or deliberate or alteration or deletion of the information. So there might be the case that you capture some information on the on email, and that server where you have kept that email is being destroyed. So just think you have an important conversation and formal conversation, and that server is being destroyed due to some disaster like earthquake or flood. So that server is destroyed, your email is gone. So all these things are the major concern. Many cloud provider may share information with third parties if necessary for the purpose of the law and order, even without informing client. It is legal because client need to accept the privacy policy before they start using the cloud service. So this is again a question that you accept some of the privacy policy, and now the question started that because you accepted that privacy policy, now your some of the part of the data, some of the information is being shared with third party, means another cloud provider or website or an organization. And so you are not legally bound, legally can't say that you can't provide this information to another organization. Then there's fourth point, possible solution, strict auditing, inclusion of privacy policy and legalization. User can encrypt data before storing it in the cloud to prevent read operation. There's no straightforward rules and regulation for checking the what a cloud provider is doing with your data. There is no straightforward rule or any legal theory behind this, because you have put your cloud data on the data center, and data center has enough capability, whether it's legal or illegal way, so they can go for reading anything that you have kept. So best thing is that you just encrypt the data and then store it on the cloud. So this is one of the possible solution by encrypting. So legal owner of the data. How is the owner of the data, cloud provider or consumer? Many terms of the service agreement are required for this. So suppose a single employee is there and he had generated something and he had created something, and then he had kept it on the private cloud, and then that employee have to face that the private cloud owner will start saying that this is my data, but the employee will say no, this is my data because I created it. But the private cloud owner, means organization, will say that no, you worked in my organization, So, and you kept it on my organization cloud. So this is my data. So this is a conflict between provider and consumer, and many terms of service agreements are required for all these things. So there are lots of legal things that are required between all these things. And cloud computing privacy concerns. Again, this is one of the uh, top topics of cloud computing. Privacy concern, security, and all these things are being most discussed topics in cloud computing, and most research topic and most important concern where cloud engineers are required and cloud scientists are required. So this is one of the most important area that you can work on other than private, public, and hybrid cloud. So private, public, and hybrid cloud is primary thing, and then after that, the secondary things which are uh, privacy concern. So physical control on the computer in the private cloud is more secure than in public cloud. So this is obvious that if you are you are in an organization and you are making an infrastructure for a private cloud, then you are saying that because that private cloud is kept within the premises of the organization, then that cloud data is more secure in terms of less access to external world. So physical control of that computer or data center would be more in private cloud as compared to in the public cloud. But public cloud has more importance as compared to some of the private cloud. So because public cloud is having dealing with large scale, like they provide large resources, they provide huge amount of large number of services. They provide better user friendliness. They provide more features, more services. So the people in this organization goes to public cloud. But if you want some security, then you use private cloud. For example, as a personal user, I prefer to keep most of the data on simple hard disk or any pen drive or anything else instead of keeping it on Google or Facebook or somewhere else. So public cloud service needs to make sure secure building to maintain secure services useful for small businesses. Public cloud services needs to make secure building to maintain secure services. So this is what is the demand of Facebook, Google, Akamai, and Twitter, LinkedIn. So they have to make a large building, and that large building needs for keeping the too many data centers. Now these data center needs strong protection. So strong protection needs controlled access to them those servers by only top authorities with permission necessary permissions. Then there is requirement of security men, means there are too many watchmen that are required for protecting that building. So that needs this is what it means by secure building. Useful for small businesses. Security is needed for protection for from from external, means physical hijacking also, means if somebody there's data center, if some physically some persons go and collect the some hard disk and then from the data center, and then it tries to steal the data. This is also been a case. Naive user do not understand or read the terms of service and accept the agreement. So this like we can say old generation persons, even in some of the new generation persons, or some which don't have much understanding of some apps or something. So they accept the every kind of agreement for installing apps or registering to the particular service for accessing that service. So they accept the agreement, and then that service or app starts stealing most of the data from mobile or laptop or from local drives. So this is what is the concern with cloud computing apps or anything. So naive user are being one of the vulnerable targets for all these things. That's why Android and iOS they have a strong restriction for app development. They have too many security features. If somebody calls that those security features for a particular mobile, then they have to take permission from Android or iOS, and those usually being kept hidden for by default. Private cloud is normally secure, but public cloud is flexible on upfront cost with less time to start. So both public and private cloud have their own advantages and disadvantages. So what we can say, private cloud is enough secure if you have enough good firewall, then private cloud is good. But private cloud has limitation that they can't be have large data centers if the organization is small. So they go for organization go for the public cloud. Public cloud has flexibility of large computing resources at small cost. Private and public cloud has their advantage or disadvantage. Then so we'll see what we had discussed. We had discussed private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud. So private cloud has its own benefit like single organization and on premises or off premises for just for one organization, and it can be managed by third party as well, but for a particular organization. Then public cloud means available for public. Too many users and too many organization can work for that can use that public cloud. Hybrid cloud means combination of private and public cloud. Community cloud means different communities are working together to manage, operate, and own some organization cloud. Then these are the different details for the public cloud. Public cloud are pay per usage model, means how much drive you are using on the Google, you are using only that much. Example of these public cloud are Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, etc. And this provides access for more access, more security, storage, and resources by another organization, which are usually large like Google, Facebook. And then private cloud is establishing cloud inside an organization for the intelligence and decision based upon the employees that we have. This raise the security issue, means if somebody uh, breaks the room and get into the data center and then physically steal the data, then private cloud also needs cooling environment, space, and a large set of hardware devices, processors, etc. So both operational cost and capital cost are involved in the private cloud. So it's issue of buy, build, and manage expertise. So all these four things are required. Hybrid cloud is combination of the private cloud and public cloud, means private cloud are being extended to the public cloud based upon the cloud bursting, means sudden spike happens in a private cloud, then that you, that organization asks for the public cloud to combine with its private cloud, and then the user can use resources of both public and private cloud. This happens because of the two reasons. Some intelligent services are required for the organization, then that organization goes from private cloud to public cloud. Second, that private cloud or organization needs some resource intensive tasks, then they use public cloud as well. So advantage is only extra amount of computing resources you need, that organization needs to pay. So example of this are distributed cloud, very old one. Multi-cloud means different service vendors are there that are combined together. Intercloud means different cloud vendors are being there, means Google, Facebook, Microsoft, they are being combined together. Then risk involved. So risk involved is with accessing data, accidental deletion of the data or destruction of server. So like legal issues that if you sign some policy, then you can't deny from that policy. So legal and illegal things are not being defined properly. Then who is the owner of that data? Whether that employee who created means provide that consumer or the cloud provider, like organization of that employee, who is the owner of that data. Then physical control of the private cloud is more means physical cloud is more physically, private cloud is safe, but then public cloud. Then public cloud service needs high-end security buildings. So with watchman and total biometric security features, then naive users like old age persons or some uneducated or illiterate person can 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 accept the agreement without reading the terms and condition, and that will breach some of their personal data as well. So private, then last one, private cloud is normally secure, but public cloud has more flexibility, and both means both public and private cloud has advantage and disadvantage.